What's up, everyone? I'm RileyChaseFox, and in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to behind the scenes of Invincible. Now, this is a recording that has J.K. Simmons,
not quite my tempo.
Steven Yeun.
Oh, no.
Dude, I did Steven so dirty right there.
You're a monster.
And Sandra Oh in it.
Oh, the only pain I feel is seeing the two men I adore at odds.
And this is the recording of the first season of the very famous Invincible, which is, if you guys haven't seen it, it's very similar to The Boys in concept. It was written by the same director, It was written by the same person that wrote The Walking Dead. Because The Walking Dead was originally a comic book, and then it became a massively successful TV show. The same writer for that is the same writer and creator for Invincible, which a great superhero show. If you guys haven't, check it out. But we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna hop right into this. So, you know, let's get started. We gotta get my bangin', baby. This one's the Bankster Berry. Refreshing. Oh. People, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, like an ice cold, chilled. Bring that in a little bit more. Focus. Will you focus already? Jeez. There is nothing like an ice cold Bankster Berry bang. Go. It's evening time.
Hello. Hey. So we thought we'd start with scene 8 from 103, which you should have there.
Yeah, so you guys want to just run through it and we'll see where it goes.
Mark, why don't you call William?
And do what? Hang out? Go buy comic books after this?
Hey, watch the tone.
It's okay.
No, it's not. Look, this is new. I get it. But you need to keep that separate. What happens out there, the mistakes, even the victories, you can't bring it home. It's the only way to stay sane, okay?
Can I go to my room?
Sure. We'll do some more training tomorrow. Just you and me. Father and son time. What?
We just came from your friend's funeral.
Co-workers.
And you're talking about pizza and telling Mark not to feel anything?
Hey, this is the life. Mark has to learn that.
What if Mark and I were burying you today?
Well, I'm not so easy to kill.
Well, I'm sure that's what Red Rush told Olga.
Yeah, he could run fast. It's not exactly one of your premier superpowers. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. But Mark and I can do more good out there than sulking in here.
Right. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Do we want to switch to the other scene?
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Cool. So first things first, I'm the realist. This is what I love about animation, about shows like this, is that you're in a booth with other actors. And if we all know, acting is reacting. So you're reacting to other actors. And if you have a good cast, a cast that can feed off of one another and kind of, you know, can build chemistry, a lot of the times, actors, if you get a bad cast, a lot of the times actors don't really vibe with one another, and that could really kill the production, and sometimes it can make a show, make it or break it. So I love it when I am in a room or studio, or I am acting along with other actors, because I can really play off of them and they can play off of me. So it's like, it's really good chemistry building. I remember I was watching a video on Harry Potter and how they casted Emma, Rupert, and Daniel.
We screen tested the three of them together to make sure that they all had this chemistry, which immediately was obvious in the first screen test.
Remember, guys, get closer to her as she finds out the information. And action.
I never got to look in here. I checked this out first term for a bit of light reading. This is light. Shut up. If Filch comes around the corner any second now, at least 50 points off Gryffindor. I knew it! Here it is. Nicholas Flamel is the only known maker of the Sorcerer's Stone. The what? Oh, honestly, don't you two read?
Good job.
So Chris Columbus, who was the director of the first and second movie, he's known to work with child actors, and he played a large part in casting Emma, Rupert, and Daniel. And when he brought them all into the room, because most of the times, like back then, there was a season for auditioning, which is like usually from January to about like April. I could be wrong. It could have changed. It could have fluctuated, but it's like you audition all year long now. But back then, that was like the audition seasoning. That was the audition season. So a lot of the times they'll have, you know, certain actors in mind, and they'll bring them all into a room to script read and to see if the chemistry is there. And when they saw Daniel, Emma, and Rupert, they knew like that's our three right there. So I like this about animation is that you're in the booth with other actors. Just when you're obviously like recording, talk your part, but when you're not recording, do not talk. Do not make noise. That way the other actors, that way these mics are like probably $5-10 grand. You know, they pick up everything. So just make sure, you know, like you're staying quiet, letting the actor read their line, and make sure you are paying attention. There are certain directors like Andrea Romano, who is very, very good and knows when an actor is paying attention or not, and she will call you out. So make sure you're paying attention. You're giving everyone the respect that they deserve. But yes, I love being in a booth with another actor because I can really feed off them, especially, you know, if I'm, you know, I might be recording for like a video game and I don't necessarily, like, I can't watch the film and kind of build off of what I'm seeing in front of me. With an actor, you know, by the way they deliver the line, that gives me something to react to. Hey, what's up, guys? So in the process of making this video, as I was editing, I realized that from this point on, the audio on my mic when I was recording, it cut off.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
You serious?
And I didn't want to re-record because I wanted my reaction to be authentic. So I do apologize if the audio gets pretty bad from here on out.
But you can't do this to me.
And I felt so stupid after I turned the camera off. I looked at it and I was like, oh, okay, you know, I'm gonna stop this. I'm doing whatever I need to do to like finish it off. And then I go to my editing software where I'm recording on my mic, which I was using GarageBand. And I noticed that it wasn't recording, and I was like, dude. So, yeah, so from here on out, the audio is off of my iPhone, which I am recording this video off of. So, don't beat me up, okay?
The scene is absolute chaos as the Mauler...
Looks like Dad's saving the White House.
Alone?
Guardians are there too.
Who are they fighting? Oh, Mauler twins. Looks like we won't be getting breakfast together this morning. Bummer.
It's the White House, Mom. Kind of important.
Oh, they rebuild that thing twice a year at this point. If it's not Doc Seismic, it's the Lizard League or someone else. I doubt the president still lives there.
I'm not too late. I'm going to shower.
Not so fast. Come here first.
Don't make me get the spray bottle.
Now, let's get you out of that costume.
Boundaries, people. Bathroom doors are closed for a reason, and parents should never, ever talk about sex in front of their kids.
You should be overjoyed to see your parents passionately expressing their love for each other. Now stop griping and get ready for school.
Couldn't you at least wait until I leave the house for college?
What were you thinking? Paris?
Actually, I was kind of pulling for that little cafe in Berlin. I've been jonesing for those sausages.
Oh man, you guys are going to Best Worst? I love that place.
You've got school. When your powers kick in, you can go on your own.
Salt on the wound, Dad.
Hey, they gotta be due any day now, son. Even the latest bloomers on Viltrum would get their powers before what would be their 18th birthday. You'll see.
Don't get his hopes up.
Great. That was great.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Cool. Okay. First things first.
if you are a parent, don't ever talk about the birds and the bees in front of your kids. It is so awkward. It's so gross. Whenever my parents are like that, I'm just like, gosh, please don't do that in front of me. But then I'm just like, all right, whatever. Like, don't talk about it in front of me. Please don't do that. So that's the first thing. Okay, if you are a parent, just please don't talk about that stuff in front of your kids. It's so awkward, so weird. Second, believe it or not, conversations, like normal conversations, like you're talking with a friend about, like, I don't know, like, oh, how about that weather? You know, simple things, is actually pretty hard to make. It's hard to make it sound convincing. Like it's a real person talking. Like it's hard to not make it sound like you're reading a script. So this is why it's so important to really understand your character and play it to the best of its ability. So that way, when your character is interacting with someone else, you take in those things like, you know, how does my character feel about this person? What is my character's relationship to this person? Was there an event or an argument or something that happened before I had this conversation with this person that I might, you know, be angry with them, I might be sad with them, I might be excited to see them, I might not be happy, you know, to see them at all. So it's having like those normal conversations, believe it or not, are pretty difficult to sound authentic. So I figured that out when I was taking a class of, I believe it was getting out of my head class. It was like trying not to overthink things, which, you know, actors will tend to do is they'll overthink their character. And, you know, something is that, you know, it's good to have an opinion, and definitely to voice it, because you should be able to feel comfortable enough, especially with your director, to have a say-so in how you would like to deliver, you know, something, or how you would like to deliver a line. But a lot of the times actors overthink their characters, and they think, oh, my character would never say that, or oh, this character would never say that, or they would never do that. But, you know, that's storytelling, and sometimes your actor is gonna do something different. I believe as an actor, you need to be playing somebody that's not you. And there's nothing wrong with playing a character that, you know, Ryan Reynolds, you see him in a lot of movies and it's typically Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds, but Ryan Reynolds has that style of acting that it works for him. I want to be an actor to where I have so much diversity. People look at me and they say, dang, like, you know, Ronnie's a very diverse actor. You know, I want them to be able to not associate me with a specific character, which is typecasting, you know, which is okay at first. Like you could definitely, you know, if that's your bread and butter, like for me, like playing those hyperactive, you know, very social, energetic, outgoing kind of characters, are easy for me because that's normally how I am in real life. But you know, I'd like to play a shy character, or I'd like to play a villain. Villains are very fun to play. Especially, you know, I've been practicing like the characters that are a little bit more like a sociopath, kind of like a Joker, kind of like psychopath. And those ones are fun. They come off natural for me, but other times I like to play a character I'm not, like in real life, because that's how I become a better actor, is by playing somebody that is not me. So, yeah, I'll ramble on and on, but I don't want to do that, so. Okay. Why did it do that?
Sounding awesome.
So why don't we do a Steven and Sandra scene?
Do you happen to know which one that is?
I do. Ross? What? A Steven and Sandra scene?
Yep.
What scene? 102?
Yeah, 102.
Yeah, 102.
Scene 20.
Scene 20.
Yeah, whenever you guys are ready.
Anytime you're ready, scene 20.
I know you don't like teams much, but they were all pretty cool. Except Rexplode. I don't know what that guy's problem is. I think he and Eve are a thing.
Who's Eve?
No one. Just a friend.
Mm-hmm. Did you find the dinners in the freezer?
Yeah. Thanks, Mom.
Mark, I'm sorry. I've been so focused on your dad that I've forgotten about you. Are you okay? Donald said you saved a lot of lives.
It was just harder than I thought. Dad didn't talk about this part of being a superhero.
Your dad's good at a lot of things. Talking about his feelings isn't one of them. But we can talk.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
So
great.
good. So good.
So we're good with that?
Great.
So JK,
So I like how in this scene is that Steven and Sandra already kind of come off as like a mother-son type of chemistry, which, I mean, in real life they probably could be mother and son. Just because Sandra looks very young for her age, but she's a little bit older. I mean, in that scene, obviously, you know, spoilers, you know, Omni-Man gets pretty beat up, and in the scene, it's kind of important for you to understand when you're coming into that scene, understand how, you know, like, Invincible's basically, you know, trying to do his dad's job. He doesn't know about what's really going on. His mom doesn't know what's really going on. He's still struggling with his powers, so to him, he doesn't feel confident, and confidence is a killer for men. So I can understand that, and I can relate to that, because there's times where it's like, man, like, if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I could be pretty, you know, beat up about it. But, you know, that's, you know, where good parents come in, and they, you know, they give you that motivation, and they tell you, you know, not necessarily what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. But there's that soft gentleness to Sandra's delivery that's very natural for her as an actor, as an actress. And I like that, which is why chemistry among actors is so important. So important. And J.K. Simmons, I mean, there's the diversity there. There's the character he plays in Spider-Man, character he plays Omni-Man, and then another one I could think of is Tenzin in The Legend of Korra. And if you haven't seen Whiplash, that's a good movie. You should check that out. Cool.
we're gonna do a short scene really quick between you and Steven. It'll be episode 107, and it's that moment where the two of you are fighting the kaiju, and you know, you're telling him there's a lot of stuff that he doesn't know.
So key thing I want to point out there is that when you get the script, study the script. Go over the script. Sometimes actors are not allowed they're not given the script enough time in advance to really go over things. So if you can get your hands on a script, you make sure you do your part in reading that script, because directors will know if you didn't. And they're saying codes like 102 scene 20, you know, so that could be on the page, you know, like it's going to be on page 102, and you need to make sure you're looking and seeing if it's scene 20. And if most of the time you get a copy, so it's yours, you can do whatever you want, highlight, edit, put little marks and indentations. When I get a script, I like to edit it in a way that, you know, something might change. Like they might say, hey, you know what, we might want you to emphasize this word, or we want to take out this sentence, or we want to add this in. So it's nice to have a pen or pencil on hand, and an eraser and a highlighter. So you could highlight your lines, but I've noticed that some actors will only read their lines, and usually this is amongst like new actors. But don't just read your lines. Don't do that. Make sure you're reading make sure you're reading the script. You can't understand the story if you don't know what everyone else is doing. If you are only paying attention to what your character is doing, you have no idea what is going on. Make sure you have the full grasp of everything that is happening, so you could fully understand the story. And when you fully understand the story, you fully understand your character. Do your part, play your part. So that's just what I want to say with scripts.
No, and all that.
Didn't you fight this thing before?
Yeah. But it's tougher now. Cecil sent it after me.
Cecil? Why would he do that?
There's so much you don't know, Mark.
What? Okay, maybe you can fill me in after we've taken care of tentacles here.
When a man and a woman love each other very, very much.
Yeah, great.
Awesome. That was great. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Steven, do you mind if we just do a Debbie and JK scene? And then we'll bring you back in?
My bad.
Thank you.
And this is the scene, like, you've had that conversation about whether or not Mark is going to fly into space and escort that rocket ship. And, you know, Nolan, you're kind of pissed off that he went. Debbie, you're a little on his side because, you know, he sort of made up his own mind. And he's kind of choosing which direction to go himself and all that.
It was his decision, and I'm proud of him. Isn't this what superpowers are for?
He doesn't understand his responsibility.
He's 17, Nolan. He hasn't had responsibilities before now. And ever since Mark got his powers, you've been different.
I'm trying to teach
You've been
him.
distant, annoyed at everything. You've been mean.
I've been under a lot of pressure.
You've been talking about home. You never talk about home.
I want Mark to know his people.
I don't even know your people. I've never even met another Viltrumite.
I've told you.
Well, you've told me stories. That's not the same. You're hiding something from me, and it hurts.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
You're not what?
I never thought I would have a family. And then you came along, and I love you and Mark so much. But when I see Mark with his powers, and after what happened to the Guardians, I'm terrified I could lose everything.
Me too. So what do we do?
Mark's gone for 2 weeks.
And?
Remember our first trip together?
Nolan? I told Olga I'd sell her house.
Her house will still be here when we get back. You asked me what we do. We do this.
Cool. All right. So, I thought the video was longer, to be honest with you. If you guys noticed, in that final scene, Steven goes back and sits down on his chair, and he's not moving. He's just looking at Sandra, and he's looking at JK, and he's not moving a lot. He's just completely silent, and he's focused on everything because he's not in the scene, but he's paying attention. He's observing. Be observant as an actor. A lot of the times, you don't need to be saying a lot. Sometimes just listening and watching what other, especially being in the room with actors like Sandra and JK, who are phenomenally good at what they do. Steven is a great actor as well, you know, like he's no chump, but just because you are at a certain point in your career doesn't mean you can't still learn. I also liked how JK and Sandra used body language to help improve the delivery of the line, which is why, like, when you're in the booth, like, for the most part, you can really wear whatever you want. You just don't want to wear a lot of jewelry, like necklaces, earrings, chains, anything that's gonna rattle and shake. Like those windbreaker jackets, like when you move your arms, like you're gonna hear that. But notice how like Jay is like kind of using his hands to like dictate the way he's delivering his line. And I do that all the time. I move my body. I move my face in a specific way that helps me get the emotion across. And that is very important. So sometimes like when you're new, you can get super stiff because you're trying to create a voice, you're trying to play a character, and if you've never been behind a mic before, it's very awkward and you don't know what to do, you know, especially, you know, being on Access, talking on it, you know, how to move them around the mic and to be able to build off of those techniques, you know, and to kind of feed off of that. So I liked how they were using gestures, their hands, they were using their arms, they were using their, you know, chest, they were using their body. They weren't moving a lot, but they were definitely using their body to get emotions across. And when, because in voice acting, everything is through the voice. Everything is through the voice. You have to create so much with just your voice. And that's the beauty of what I love about voice acting. It's what I fell in love with. It is my first love. And besides Jesus, voice acting is what I love so much. So with film, everything's in the face, everything's in the eyes. What can the eyes create? How can the eyes get someone to feel an emotion, feel sad or angry or upset or excited? And then in theater, everything is live. Everything is with your full body. So I like watching the behind the scenes because I get to see how top tier actors and actresses get into the mode of delivering their lines and creating something amazing. But hey, I'm RileyChaseFox, and I appreciate you guys for watching this video. I don't know why you guys do, but you do. And for that, I am very, very thankful. So if you guys are interested in voice acting, you guys are into anime, you guys are into video games and animation, and you guys like content like this, then please do subscribe so you can see more videos and more content like this. Until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Deuces. Later. Bye. Have a good one, guys.
Oh, that's all right.